Hi, my name is Catherine Gloston, and I'm going to be talking about the Dick and Carey model for our Module 1 assignment. So let's get started. Here's my table of contents. Today I'm going to talk about what is the Dick and Carey model. Then I'm going to analyze the Dick and Carey model. I'll go into pros and cons, and then I'll talk about the use in the classroom. So first up, what is the Dick and Carey model? So according to the instructional design using the Dick and Carey systems approach, the Dick and Carey model is a system approach by Dick and Carey that helps instructional designers develop curricula through a series of 9 steps which work together toward a defined instructional goal. The Dick and Carey systems approach considers components such as the instructor, learners, materials, instructional activities, delivery system, and the learning and performance environment. Basically, with the Dick and Carey model, it is just a broken down version of the Addy model. So if you're using the Addy model, you probably kind of mixed in some of the Dick and Carey features inside there. So I wanted to show you that the Addy model has its 5 steps, and then in the Dick and Carey model, some people say there's 9, some people say there's 10, but I'll talk to you some more about my direction. What I chose was the 10. So I'm going to analyze the Dick and Carey model, and I'll talk to you about why I chose the 10. So the very first step is to identify instructional goals. Now, in this step, you are basically all you're doing is you're identifying what it is the learners are expected to do by the end of the lesson, all right? Or end of the instruction for the day. Basically, you're finding out what you need to teach, okay? And you're setting those goals. Then after that, you're going to stop at the instructional analysis. And in the instructional analysis, you're talking about the requirements, the steps, step by step, what the learners need to do, all right? Third step is to identify entry behaviors, or some people call it analyze learners and context. So that's like the attitudes, as well as the characteristics of the instructional setting. That's like, who am I teaching? What factors about my students will affect my lecture? So those are kind of like knowing your students and how they will relate or interact with the lesson being taught. Next up is performance objectives. So in the performance objectives, basically now you're kind of really specifying. Okay, so you want to have your goals for the students that they need to meet by the end of the lecture. So basically, you're talking about the skills that need to be learned, the conditions, the criteria. Next up is to develop assessment instruments. And in that one, you are developing your assessments based off of those objectives. All right, so you're creating the tools that the students need in order to show that they have mastered those objectives. So that could be like your test. That'll be your graded material. All right. Also known as kind of like your criterion reference test. So that's something else that's kind of used in that step. Number 6 is develop your instructional strategy. And in that stage, you are creating the plans for how the instruction will occur. So you're creating your pre-instructional activities. You're talking about the information that you're going to present, the order you're going to present it in. Your testing, are you going to do like a pre-test or a post-test? Your follow-up activities. Do you need to do intervention? Is there some remediation? Something that you can do to get them really truly involved in the activity and in the lesson. Number 7 is develop and select the instructional materials. Just as it says, basically all you're doing is you are going to figure out the whatever strategies you have. What do you need to implement those strategies? Is there a specific piece of software? Is there a simulation that you need to have downloaded and shared? Do you just need whiteboards today? Do you just need your pencil, books? You might need your Chromebooks or iPads. And then as well as for you as a teacher, what do you need? I know for me, I might need my iPad. I might need my Surface. I might need my Mac. I might need the Promethean board today. So different things that you're going to need to get through the day, through that lesson. Number 8 is the formative evaluation. And that's where those nice exit tickets come in. All right. So you're going to collect the data and you're going to be able to use those to improve your instruction. Now, if you are like me, you have been doing this step through and through. This is what some people call step 9, which is revision instruction. All right. So then you use that information that you received from your formative evaluation, and then you are now able to take that and go back and recreate, whether that's you need to start at your instructional analysis. You might need to rewrite your performance objectives. I find that for me, I've been kind of, on that standpoint where I've been doing that all the time. That's an ongoing process. You're going to do that. You may catch it in the beginning, or maybe after your exit ticket, that's where you're kind of going back in to do the revision. But it is a step and it definitely should be done. And then finally, you are at the final process, the final step for me. That is the summative evaluation. So that's the evaluation that you do of this whole instruction. How did those kids come out when they took that test? All right. So that is that's the Dick and Carey model, kind of broken down in my own words. All right. So next up are the pros and cons. So on the pros and cons side, I'll talk about the advantages of the Dick and Carey model. So advantages, one, it's goal oriented. So all the components, they work together toward this defined goal. It's flexible. All right. You can use this in math. You can use this in English, science, social studies, chemistry, religion, all those different things that you use. Misconceptions are considered and taken into consideration. So what happens is you can address those students' misconceptions because you already know the behaviors that's going on. Then you assess prior knowledge, which is really, really neat. By setting out those goals and those objectives and those requirements that's needed, you're able to show them that they actually know some of the steps that's required for this new concept. Now, the drawbacks or disadvantages. All right. So in this case, biggest thing for me is that it's time consuming. You will probably take a long time when you are doing your planning using the Dick and Carey model. It does take a long time, trust me. Personal experience. All right. Also, there's no account for variables. All right. So what happens is sometimes by the time you finished off everything, you're faced with a new set of students. So it's just to be mindful of that. That can be a disadvantage just depending on how you pace. Okay. Now for the use in the classroom. So I'll be really quick because for the sake of time, I'll talk about how I use the Dick and Carey model in my classroom. So the very first stop is I set my goal, which in this case, the goal is to be able to compare numbers, positive integers to negative integers. Then after that, my instructional analysis, I will, my skills required. I do a quizzes brain challenge, which is kind of like, after I know exactly what is required of me, I have kind of like those skills broken down. I need them to be able to tell me what is an integer, what is positive numbers, what's our negative numbers, and what's the comparison signs. Number 3, identify the entry behaviors. I have talkative students, and they get extra talkative when they're not challenged. 4, write performance objectives. Students will be able to compare multi-digit integers. 5, develop my criterion reference tests. I have bell ringers. I have exit tickets. I've developed those based off of my objectives. 6, my strategy. I'm going to use that bell ringer. I might use a Nearpod activity. Definitely going to toss in the quizzes for extra practice if time permits. 7, develop and select my instructional materials. I got my Eureka math. I have my Saxon. I have my jump math. I need my Chromebook. We need whiteboards because we're writing on those when we do our quizzes. For when we don't have Chromebooks, and they're not charged, we're improvising. So the secondary piece of tools that we can use to still make sure we're able to do those strategies that I have in place. 8, develop and conduct my formative evaluation. That's my exit ticket. It's now being used. 9, after I get those exit tickets back, I'm revising, but I've already kind of done my brain challenge, and my actual activity, my Nearpod activity. So I've already been kind of revising and revamping some things at this point, especially after my Nearpod activity, once I actually start to go into my class instruction as a whole group. All right. And then 10, once we finally have it where everybody's feeling comfortable about it, we're going to do our summative evaluation, and we're going to take a quiz on comparing, adding, and subtracting integers. So for the most part, that is it for me. I thank you so much for your time. Here's my references that I did use during this module, and I truly appreciate all your time and patience with me. I look forward to hearing your feedback. You guys have a wonderful day.